Hello, everybody. Всем привет. Today we're going to talk about the artifact events. So up until this point in the game, I've just had artifacts be like a free pickup, but there's a 20% chance of getting into a battle with 50 rogues, 5 stacks of 10 rogues each, and a 20% chance of a leprechaun trying to sell you the artifact for 2,000 gold. So this is like what the leprechaun looks like. Um, when you sometimes you find an artifact, a bunch of rogues come out of the brush to try and attack you, and it's 50 rogues. The leprechaun, if you say no, he just vanishes. If you say yes, he stamps his foot and ignores you. And then when you defeat the rogues, you search their corpses and discover the Medal of Honor. So this is what we're trying to build. Basically, just a 20% chance of any. We're trying to insert some sort of random generator roll here. When you pick up an artifact, is it going to be rogues? Is it going to be a leprechaun? And what? How do we do that? So there's a 60% chance the artifact is just picked up. Currently, it's 100% in the code. We're going to change that. And a 20% chance of initiating a battle with 50 rogues. Um, and a 20% chance of this leprechaun that offers to sell it to you for 2,000 gold. If the hero says no, the dialog box mentions the leprechaun disappears. And then when OK is clicked, the artifact disappears and is not given to the hero. The player clicks yes, then 2,000 gold is deducted from their kingdom's treasury. The artifact is given to the hero and placed in their inventory. If the player clicks yes and there is not enough gold, the artifact remains but does not get transferred to the hero. And then I basically verbalize the text in all of those images above. If the OK button, the artifact will disappear from the map screen and is not transferred to the hero. And the kill fade sound is played. Let's see, come an ancient artifact. Yep. And then if a hero loses a battle with the rogues, the regular battle result occurs, and the hero disappears with the kill fade sound, and the artifact remains in place on the map. Let's try and implement this into events similar to how we did Daemon Cave and Shipwreck and Graveyard. And the artifacts displayed inside the dialog boxes are to be displayed in the same way inside that image frame. What I'm talking about is this. There's this frame that goes around the artifact image. And is this clear? Let me know. Please present fully modified files and updated documentation, no patches. So it has everything. It runs through. It wants to see a little bit of battle screen and some of the events. So I re-upload. I mean, I had already uploaded these files, but there's this thing with Claude where like you'd upload files and it still wouldn't see them. And I don't know if that was an infrastructure thing or if they're trying to like scam people into spending more tokens where you have to re-upload the files multiple times. I I don't know. I assume it's just infrastructure because they're overwhelmed and barely scaling. Um, who knows? Who knows? I don't want to accuse them of malice uh, because it could just be they're overwhelmed by a need for compute or storage or something else. There's some other bottleneck in there that's causing that issue. But yes, the not enough gold keeps the hero in place without stepping onto the artifact, but normally it is a pickup event tile. The 60-20-20 should be rolled at the map initialization load. Did you get the images of each dialogue I uploaded? And then what I mean by this initialized at map load is when we load up the map, if an artifact is decided that it's going to be protected by some rogues or a leprechaun, that needs to be the same for every player and every visit. So that's why we have to set that at the map load point. If we didn't do that, if we rolled it every time, you could just go and like run away from the rogues, or maybe your next hero wouldn't wouldn't trigger the rogues, or if you saved the game and then tried a different approach, it would get a different roll and then you'd be able to dodge it. That's not how the game works. And so, let's make it function like the game. So they're initialized at the map loading, the what the scenario is going to be. It has all the dialogue screenshots. The code files didn't come through. The paths are listed, but the contexts aren't in context, blah, blah, blah. It keeps saying that. So that's some weird Claude infrastructure problem that I hope they fix soon. So it's doing something with, it's used to doing graveyard backgrounds for certain types of battles over artifacts. So now it's saying on the terrain the artifact is on. So it's going to do what neutral town does. Neutral town shows the terrain that the town is on. Anyway, 0x18 is the creature ID for rogues in hexadecimal. Yes, use whatever the neutral town would do for the background. Let's create an artifact state for both B0 and BD artifacts. So one of those is a fixed type artifact and one of those is a randomly selected artifact from the pool of artifacts. And we're going to create an artifact state that's going to track if they are leprechaun, rogue, or freely available. Confirmed. So it goes through, does a whole bunch of reasoning, changes some maps and events and other things, and gives me some files. I test it. Your judgment calls are wrong. First of all, the dialogue will be capturing all input, so gold will not be spent elsewhere while the dialogue box is open. We can simplify this. That seems unnecessarily complex. Second, let's drop the extra dialogue with the leprechaun takes your gold and hands you the artifact. Like with a framed image, it may feel abrupt to you, but I want to mirror the game as closely as possible, and that was not there. You already see the artifact in that frame. Showing it again seems redundant. So there was some kind of message it did. Yeah, it just added, it took some liberties basically. It did an affordability check. That's normal. You should do an affordability check in the game, but this extra like UI, like the leprechaun takes your gold and hands you the artifact name, that wasn't in the game. That's weird. That's, maybe that's in some other game or some other version of the game, and the AI was trained on that and has that as, oh, that's what should happen. But anyway, that just wasn't correct. And I don't remember what it was tracking the gold. I think what the game or what the AI was saying here was like it has to do a check and make sure you have the gold in case somebody else is spending the gold while you're in this. And I said, no, this is like the static event that's happening. So no one's going to be spending the gold while you're sitting there negotiating with this leprechaun. So you don't really need to do that. Like it's fine to check it, checking gold at click time instead of open time is a distinction without a difference. And so that's basically what I said is like, you're making it too complicated. Just do the simple version. It goes through, comes up with this. I got a compile error. Then it gives me something. Okay, the leprechaun events are all working correctly. The rogue events are not. The battle's not being triggered. The dialogue shows the rogues coming out, but then no battle's triggered. And the artifact is simply placed in the hero's inventory. While that would be nice, we actually do want to trigger the battle with the 5x10 rogues. And so it looks into it, and there's this no open event battle branch in the logic. So we go through that. We do end up with something that works. And then now we need to add this and make sure that the same thing happens to the AI, that it's fair between the human player and the AI player. So don't mark the rogue guarded artifacts as guarded. The AI cannot know beforehand. That would be cheating. The AI can know that it's possible, so they could treat all artifacts as guarded by 50 rogues. But the AI should not know. The game was like, I'll just let the AI know if it's guarded by 50 rogues, and it'll factor that into its decision. And I'm like, yeah, that's cheating, because you're only going to go when you know you're strong enough to beat 50 rogues. You wouldn't roll that dice. So anyway, we continue on. Goes on a very long time, but gives us something here. And then I add my AI development documentation, and then have a couple bugs, and then that's pretty much it. So let's open up the version of it, and let's have a look at what this did. So we'll just take some dragons just in case we run into some rogues. Okay, so nothing there. This is an earlier build, so that's why we had a crash there. Okay, so far we're just getting the shields. We've had good luck. Come on, Killbird, start something. Come on, do something. Okay, well, I think this is the right build. Maybe it's not. If we don't get it in the next couple. Okay, here we go. So we have a leprechaun. Yes, let's buy it, and it's in our inventory now. So that's cool. And it cost us 2,000 gold. That's also correct. Let's see if we can get a rogue battle. I was just beginning to doubt myself that this was actually working. So now we've got a another leprechaun situation. That's cool, but let's get some rogues, please. Suddenly now they're now all rogues, or they're now all leprechauns. I mean, oh, the ballista. I haven't seen that one in a while. Ballista of quickness. Okay, well, that's not, I want to see the rogues strike. Monster Gallant. Oh, I wonder if my random number generator is funny. I mean, that's actually, I think, a recent Bitcoin hack that happened in the news. The random number generator was faulty, and that was like the bug. And what that means is, like, when you have like a passphrase for a wallet, which is like some set of random words, they would be able to regenerate a whole series of what those would be, and it would be the same each time, so it wouldn't be truly random. So that would allow them to create a bunch of values that they could use to guess people's wallets and then empty them. And so anyway, I was worried about my random number generator here possibly being broken, but it does work. I just got the rogues The rogues, okay, but that was the error. You see, there was no battle, and I picked up the. Okay, so that was an earlier buggy version. So let me go to a later version that definitely has this in there, and let's just try it again. So we know we have the rogues going, but I think that was the version that was, I saved the version with the bug that didn't, the version where the rogue battle didn't happen, that I argued with the AI about. And so I've got to make sure that this works. I want to prove on video that this is functioning. I mean, I'm all for getting free artifacts. It's wonderful. It's like Christmas. Christmas on Claw Island. Okay, well, that's nice that we're getting the artifact, but we're meeting leprechauns and stuff. That was the Medal of Courage, I guess. Here we go. All right, this may be a close call. I don't know if I'm going to be able to win this, but let's try. No, I'm probably cooked. Well, we're going to do my default. We get the message, we get the boots. Relying on my debugging function that just lets me skip battles so I can move faster through the game and test things. But there we do have the rogues working, and I'm happy to see that finally.